All right, it looks like we are live. Welcome, guys, to this live stream. Today, we're going to be talking about my daily sales, but not daily sales, yearly sales, but really just wanted to get on a live stream and hang out with you guys, help you guys learn how to resell. If that's what you're into, if you want to just hang out, awesome. But yeah, just a little bit about me before we get started a little bit more. I've been reselling for about 5 years. About four of those have been full time. Started with eBay. Now, last 4 years have been Amazon. Um, what I do right now primarily is a business model called online arbitrage, where you buy from online sites and then sell back on Amazon, hopefully for profit. That's the goal always. So, yeah, very primarily now what I do is I buy discontinued electronics, office supplies, computer accessories, health and household items, and then sell for more on Amazon. I mostly focus on higher ASP stuff, average selling price stuff. My average selling price is about $160. And I was going to talk about my yearly sales so far. So far this year, um, let's see here. So we have my sales at $791,000 this year. Just going to go ahead and refresh it. Um, so yeah, that's my sales so far this year. Um, I think this year has been the best year so far. I had a really, really good half of last year as well. But the time before that was um, quite a bit lower. But so far, this year's profit, well, here's the things I'm going to cover in this live stream. I wanted to talk about my yearly sales and some of my journey with that. I have it written. Sorry about that. I have it written down, some of my notes, so that I came a little bit prepared. But I wanted to talk about my favorite products to sell. I wanted to talk about the profit that I've had this year so far, and then I wanted to talk about how you guys can improve and how I can help you guys grow your stores, whether they're eBay, whether they're Amazon, whether you're doing books, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. I just want to be able to be here and help you guys out. Also, if you guys have any questions, definitely feel free to put those in the comments. And also, if you're here watching on the replay, this would be something great to listen to while you're shipping or listing something or at the gym or whatever. So I went over my yearly sales so far, 791K. Super happy with that. But kind of like we've talked about before in other podcasts and live streams and everything else, like we don't really care about sales, we care about profit. So some of my favorite products to sell, I think a lot of people stay away from anything that is going to get returned. Um, and there's some merit to that, but at the same time, the competition on those are less. And so you're going to be able to get higher ROI for a lot of those types of items. So, like, a lot of people won't touch electronics because of the return rate, or they're just scared of high dollar items for whatever reason, and like they're scared of getting a return, and they get like a $60 return on eBay and they start freaking out. You know, like nobody likes returns. We'd rather the customer just keep the item. But oftentimes, like, there's actually less competition for those types of items, especially those two things together. So, like I said before, I really like office products. I really like electronics. Um, Thinking like in the office products category, printers, label printers. What else do I do? I almost like need to look at my sales and be like, what do I sell? Scanners sometimes. In the electronics category, there's docking stations, there's voice recorders, there's graphics cards, there's um, Goodness, I need to just like pull up my sales and take a look. I'm going to show everything that has been shipped as well. In the office category, there are typewriters, there are scanners, there are keyboards in the computer and accessories category, more scanners, headphones, speakers, solid state drives, more speakers, fax machine. I don't even know what that is. IntelliSlot communications card, a cloud key, toner sometimes does well, fax machines, just like boring stuff that nobody wants to sell, but it's like stuff's not boring. There's margins there because like, look, if something gets discontinued, someone buys something 7 years ago, they use it for 4 years, and then it gets discontinued. Like they often want to just keep using that same product and they just want to replace it. But if it's discontinued, they're not going to be able to get it. But yet at the same time, there was a knock on another door. At the same time, there was a pattern of it selling for a cheaper price for a long, long time. And so people will often be able to sell that at the right price on Amazon later. So next I want to talk about is the yearly profit so far. So yearly profit so far, this is being recorded at the end of September, at the very start of October. And so far profit has been around $198,000 in profit after expenses, after software costs, after cost of goods, after returns. It's been the best year so far. And I want to get into some of the tips on how you guys can improve. And I want to learn from you guys also how I can be improving, because that's how you just keep getting better, is keep learning. So a couple things that have been key for me is increasing ROI, kind of like I was saying. You can pick stuff where you're going to actually have a good chance of getting a good ROI on it. Like I was saying, like discontinued stuff, stuff that's higher dollar, because if you're selling stuff that's like $30 and you have to make a choice on whether you're going to purchase something or not, and your own, like the payoff is only like $7 profit, and you have to do that over and over again, like that's really difficult to actually like do a ton of. But if you're selling something that's like $200, and when you make a good choice, you're going to make $70, that really starts to add up quickly if you do that over and over again. So a couple other things is, I think a lot of people set spend goals, but they don't set potential profit goals. And so what do I mean by this? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here in a second. And I'm going to show you an example of potential profit versus a spend goal. So I'm just going to sign in so I can show you this and then share my screen. 1 second here. All right, I will be sharing my screen right here. It's just, I'm on another browser, so it makes me enter in a bunch of other information. All right, I'm going to share my screen here. All right, let's say we were sourcing for this calculator. This is a TI 83 plus graphing calculator. Let's say we were used items is what we like to do. this item is easier to find in used condition than it is in new condition. Another thing is like being comfortable with keepagraphs is super important. So I can give a little bit more of an explanation on that as the next tip. But we'll go on to this first. So we see that the trending price for a used TI 83 Plus calculator right now is about $35, and a while ago it was around $45. But it's usually, I'd probably say it's more like 39. I'm gonna pull up SellerAmp here. I don't have it on this browser. We're just gonna use RevSeller for now. So $39. If we FBA, you're gonna get $27 back. If you FBM, you're gonna get 26 back. So if we can find this on eBay, let's say we were able to find this. Maybe let's just take out the auctions for a second here. So let's say we sold this one with screen damage. This is not a plus though. We're just for the example, we're going to say that this is a plus, and then we'll find a profitable one. If we were to purchase this for $11, 5 plus 6, that would be $11 of spend and $15 or $16 of potential profit, depending on if you're doing FBA or FBM. So whatever you guys can do to actually be tracking your potential profit, that's the thing that matters. Because look, like if I just go here and I just go by like best match and I pay $25 for this, $24 for this, I'm not actually making any money. So like your spend goals really don't matter, because like if you're making $2 or $3 profit, like it's not worth it. Like that's not the point. You're trying to make a profit. It's the spread between the two. Like this seems super obvious to me, but like people continue to track their spend goals, and I just don't understand like why people track their spend goals the same way when potential profit goals make so much more sense. So like one thing you could do is you could bid on these auctions that I'm just ignoring, honestly, at this point. That's a good way to get some spread. So this one, it looks like it has screen damage, small screen damage though. And it looks like fully functional still. So this isn't one that you'd sell as used like new. You'd sell this at like used good probably. So if we sell for the 39 that we said before, and we get this for $12.79, the spread between that is $13 or $14, depending on your FBMing or FBA. So this is a way that you can like actually see what your potential profit is. This is a super good product, super consistent. It's relatively easy to find, so it's good for examples, and it never really gets oversaturated because people do continue to buy this item. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can go business model wise. What I do is I purchase mostly new items from eBay to Amazon. You can purchase used items from eBay to Amazon. You can purchase from other sites to sell on Amazon. You can purchase from online stores to sell on Amazon. You could purchase from in-person stores to sell on Amazon. You could thrift. You could do used books. You could do wholesale. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this. eBay to Amazon specifically, I would suggest you have some Amazon experience with it, because on the account health side, it is a bit more difficult. It's like glorified thrifting, because like when you thrift or when you do used books, you have no invoices. And it's the same thing with eBay to Amazon. So you have to be quite careful with what you sell. But overall, usually going to work out, but you need to be very, very careful. So I'm going to take a look and I'm going to share with you guys how the second skill for what you guys are going to need to know in order to increase your profit, basically. And if you don't know what this is Keepa, a very important thing. It seems super complicated, but I'm just going to break it down kind of step by step. So we're going to uncheck a lot of stuff here so that it's not as complicated. All right, so when we look at Keepa, the main thing we're looking at is this top section most of the time. So this green line basically tells us about the demand. And the closer to 0 it is, the faster selling an item is. It tells us the sales rank of the item. And the sales rank being at 0 means that it's going to sell very, very quickly. Whereas if it's like up like this, I mean, honestly, this still sells fast, but much slower than when it's all the way down here. And there'll be other listings too that we could probably just click into from here. Yeah, like, well, I don't want to click into, yeah, so this is a good one. So this listing, you see how the green lines are much slower basically. So like that was probably one sale, that was probably one sale, that was probably one sale. And there's only several sales per month at this point. And sometimes it took several months to even get one sale. So you can tell that this is a slower listing, whereas this one is like much, much faster. And then the key crossroads that we need to know is, does it sell and for what price does it sell? So this buy box is where most of the sales happen for new items. So if we're looking at new items, we want to see, does it sell and at what price? So at this point, it was selling for in the $65 range. And since there were sales happening and the price was that, we know then that people in the past were selling it for that price. And then also people were selling it for more like $80 to $90 at this point. So another thing that we see here is that this demand goes up and down, more demand, less demand, more demand, less demand, more demand, less demand. This is because this is a calculator. This is a seasonal item. And during textbook season or back to school, college season, this is a lot more like needed. So during September, just now, there was a lot of these being sold, and it's starting to come back to less demand at this point. Like here, it wasn't selling for months, and probably in January for a little while, this came down. Yeah. So that's the very basics of that. If you're selling used items, you're going to want to take a look at this used item price. So this is going to be your lowest used price, this black line. And you can take a look at the used like new. Sometimes there's a major difference between used like new and the lowest used price. Sometimes the condition really matters, sometimes it doesn't. But on this one, there's a whole different market based on the condition of the item. Used acceptable, used good, used very good, used like new. And then unchecking these. If you're selling new, you're going to want to take a look out for Amazon. You can still sell with Amazon for sure. You just want to see exactly what we're seeing here, that you can get buy box below Amazon so that you actually get sales. And so that's happening here. We have Amazon right here at $96, and we have people cutting Amazon and they are getting the buy box just about all the time. So that's a good sign. There's other listings where you'll see that the buy box stays with Amazon and then people try to cut and they still don't get buy box. that is a good sign to stay off the listing, or you're not going to sell very many of these. I mean, this is the lowest new price. Sometimes you can price under the buy box and you still don't get buy box. So you need to actually match buy box. And that's why they don't get buy box, which is pretty funny. And then this is FBA, the little triangles. That's the price of the lowest FBA as far as I know. Oh yeah, there's also a buy box new that happened recent-ishly. So whatever the best used offer is, it's going to be that. And then another thing that's good to look at is down here, you can see both how many offers there are for new sellers and how many offers there are for used sellers. And so you can see trends happening here sometimes. Sometimes it goes up, and the price ends up going down, which it did. This isn't a super drastic trend here. Honestly, this is pretty stable. But sometimes there's major trends. So if you see it going up, the price is probably going to go down. So you want to be very conservative with that buy because the price is probably going to go down. But if you see it going down, the price is probably going to go up. And so we see that the price went down and the price went up by $15. So that's Keepo 101. Yeah, let's see. I mean, reselling from my point of view is how can you find items quickly that are profitable, and how can you list and ship these items quickly? So whatever you can do to raise your potential profit and lower the time spent in the business is really what you got to do. And so you can look at the difference between, okay, I found $1,000 potential profit this month and I spent like 10 hours doing it. Okay, that's $100, right? $100 an hour. Yeah, I can't do math when on live streams, but okay, that's my hourly of input into my business because I can't control how many sales I do. I can't control the seasonality of stuff. I can't control any of that, but I can control how much potential profit I put into my store. And I can control how long it took. So from there, you can be like, okay, I spent 3 hours listing. Oh, I'm using Seller Central. Maybe I should get a listing software and cut that into an hour instead of 3 hours. And from there, you get more efficient. So that's really the road to getting better with reselling. Hopefully, you guys can keep enjoying reselling. It's a really fun thing to do. It's really profitable if you take it seriously. It's really unprofitable if you don't take it seriously. But yeah, I'm wishing you guys the best and hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.